Good morning. This is the Starr Breakfast News on your Simply the Best dial 103.5 FM. Coming up this morning, Executive Director of Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, ASEPA, impresses upon appointment committee to utilize pre-sitting meetings to quell visible clashes during sittings.
They should rally their forces and ensure that there are pre-sitting meetings where, at least as a committee, they come up with a strategy on how to deal with whoever is showing up before them.
Also coming up, MP for Wild West refused claims that President John Dramani Mahama should have appointed a national security minister instead of a coordinator.
Well, Dr. Kabiru doesn't understand the system. A national security minister does not have an overriding power over the Minister of Interior. He is not a supervisor over the Minister of Defense. He is just another minister.
Still in this edition, anti-graft campaigner dismisses minorities' claims on the unconstitutionality of oral committee. We've got details of these stories coming up shortly. But first, let's remind you of our affiliate stations across the country.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM. Starr News. Informed, in depth, in touch.
Many thanks to you for choosing Starr News. I am Nurein Abass. Now, the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Rahman, has impressed upon the Appointments Committee of Parliament to utilize pre-sitting meetings to quell clashes during sittings. This comes after Monday's public hearings, which saw NPP MPs accusing the chairman of the committee, Bernard Ahiafo, of being biased and hostile against their members on the committee. According to them, their side were denied the opportunity to probe and subject CVs of the nominees. Speaking to Starr News Station or speaking to sister station GH1 TV, Dr. Rashid Rahman pleaded with the leaders of both sides to reach a compromise to enable smooth vetting of the remaining candidates.
Fortunately, we have the minority leader, who is a leader of parliament, and we have the chair as a deputy speaker. I think that, this is a very unique opportunity for these two leaders to demonstrate leadership. They come and show a united front in dealing with these nominees who are going to be handling our affairs in this country, and they are not handling NDC, NPP affairs. So I think going forward, there are many more, maybe about 30 more nominees to be set by this committee. I think I urged and I plead with the two leaders in particular, the deputy speaker and the minority leader. At least they should rally their forces and ensure that there are pre-sitting meetings where, at least as a committee, they come up with a strategy on how to deal with whoever is showing up before them. For instance, if you hear that the CVs of the nominees were not, shared with members of the committee.
Meanwhile, MP for Wale, Dr. Tia Abdul Kabir Mahama, has once again questioned the seriousness of the president in the formation of his government. He wonders why the president would nominate regional ministers at the expense of critical sectors.
Let's even say that he has 2 weeks more and is giving us this thought appointment. If he was a serious president minded at national interests, he would have appointed a national security minister first, because your duty as a president is to safeguard the. What can they do? He has given us 10 regional ministers. What will the regional ministers do? What is happening in the region? What is wrong? Are the regional coordinating council not able to manage affairs? You think that regional ministers are the most important? You've left out the national security minister. You've left out issues about, the interior ministry. You've not dealt issues about road transport. These are the real sector that will drive the economy. You are going to talk about regional ministers. That doesn't show seriousness. That's not showing account the government that wants to appoint his minister within the 15 days. I only hope that he does that within 15 days. We are ready. The committee is ready.
You heard the Member of Parliament for Wale Wale, Dr. Tia Abdul Kabiru Mahama. You're still listening to the Star Breakfast News. Now, it seems that the appointment of Prosper Bani as National Security Advisor has generated mixed reactions from various political figures and analysts. Some security analysts who have supported the move insist it will help restore peace in areas like Boko and other disputed territories, following criticisms from some NPP MPs who have called on the government to consider appointing a national security minister instead of relying on coordinators. The NDC MP for Wild West, Peter Lansheni Tobu, says such calls are unnecessary.
Well, Dr. Kabiru doesn't understand the system. A national security minister does not have an overriding power over the Minister of Interior. He is not a supervisor over the Minister of Defense. He is just another minister in relation to security matters, very particularly when you talk about the NIB, you talk about the Signals Bureau, you talk about agents in particular. But when you talk security coordinator, his job is to coordinate all the agencies within the national security architecture. That's not another agency. National security is that all the security agencies put together, and the coordinator is supposed to be versatile in his job, to bring ideas together, pick intelligence together, do briefing at the National Security Council level, and assignments will be assigned to various agencies as relevant. So if there is no minister, it changes nothing. The job of the National Security Minister will be done very well by the coordinator, and we will not lose anything. I'm not very soon we have the National Security, we will have the Minister for the Interior, we have the Minister for Defense, and gradually we will begin to put up the full structure of the national security architecture. You will appreciate what we are in for.
You heard the Member of Parliament for Wild West, Peter Lansheni Tobu. Meanwhile, former government spokesperson on governance and security, Dr. Paul Boache Dankwa, wants the newly constituted national security architecture to focus on keeping the country's borders safe and secure.
Well, to strengthen the security that was already existing, there was a national security framework that had been put in place by the SO and the Kufuor-Addo government. Would want them to strengthen a lot more. There's a lot of cyber issues, and there was a strategy as well that has been put in place. I'm sure that they would work with that, and that are safe and they are protected against the threats of, because we run the borders.
Let's move on to other stories. An anti-graft campaigner, Adam Senano, has strongly rejected claims by the minority in Parliament that the oral committee is unconstitutional. This comes after the Member of Parliament for Swami, John Darko, charged all former appointees of the Akufo-Addo-led government to desist from appearing before what he described as an illegal body. Speaking to Star News, Mr. Senano insisted that the oral committee is operating within the remits of the law.
There's no need for any constitutional backing. I don't know why that issue is still trending or raging in the news. Civil society, GII, we have a hotline. Persons who want to provide any information on anything happening should provide information, and they do so. Remember that Article 41F of our Constitution is categorical. The citizens have a responsibility, indeed an obligation, to report the misuse of state resources and assets. And so there's clear jurisdiction for anybody to report, in fact, not just to report, but also to protect, So Article 41F is a constitutional obligation on the citizen. There's every reason why a group of people can receive that information and make sure that, therefore, the state is made aware and the state takes the actions to protect the press. I don't see the gap or lacuna that is being highlighted over and over again.
You had, I beg your pardon, you had anti-graft campaigner Adam Senano speaking to Star News. Now, the Prime Minister for Mali, Abdoulaye Maiga, has arrived in Ghana for a state visit to deepen bilateral relations between the two West African nations. As part of his visit, the Prime Minister is expected to deliver a special message from Mali's President Assimi Goïta to President John Dramani Mahama following his recent investiture on 7th January this year. There's more in the following report.
Prime Minister Abdoulaye Maiga was welcomed at the Jubilee Lounge of the Kotoka International Airport by Marietta Ejiwa-Brew, legal advisor to the President and National Security Advisor, Prosper Bani. In her remarks, Marietta Brew highlighted that the visit seeks to deepen bilateral ties and foster stronger collaborations.
It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to receive His Excellency Abdoulaye Maiga and his team from Mali this evening. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama asked me to receive them on his behalf. We have meetings tomorrow to discuss the mutual interest between the two countries. It is a sign of the good relationship that the two countries have had in the past and will continue to have. And so this evening, you are welcome, you and your team, and we wish you a very warm stay in Accra.
On his part, Prime Minister Maiga, in his address, congratulated President Mahama on his electoral victory and expressed strong optimism about engaging in productive discussions with the Ghanaian government. On behalf of His Excellency Assimi Goïta, Army General, President of the Transition, Head of States and Mali, we have the honor to be here tonight in Accra, Ghana. We have a message from our President, and this message is intended for his brother, His Excellency President Dramani Mahama. President Dramani Mahama was invested on January 7, 2025. In view, of course, of the excellent relationship between Mali and Ghana, it is quite normal, first of all, to wish good luck to the newly invested and democratically elected President of Ghana. We wish the good God to accompany him in this rich and exhilarating program. For the moment, I prefer to keep it here, and as I said, we are bearers of a message that is intended first and foremost to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is also scheduled to meet with President Mahama to deliver a special message on behalf of Mali's President Assimi Goïta.
That brings us to the end of the breakfast news this morning. When you log on to starfm.com.gh, you'll find more news update there. I am Nurein Abass. Many thanks for your company. We have the sports team with Sports Chat next. Do enjoy the rest of your day.